Hello, good day everyone. So today we are going to continue with our new topic, which is analyzing technical document. Okay, first thing first, what is the meaning of technical document? Technical document is a kind of document that describes how a product or a service works. So basically, it is based on different kind of fields, and different fields will have different types of technical documents. So basically, technical document is defined as having specific information and specific purpose, and you give the information to specific audience. All right, so three features: specific information, specific purpose, and also specific audience. Now that we know the definition of a technical document, so what is the purpose of analyzing technical document? So basically, you have the technical document in front of you, you read the document, you try to analyze the content of it, and based on the information, okay, you will look at the meaning, you will look at the essence of it based on different professions or different fields you are in. All right, now let's look at the examples. Okay, what we have here is a list of examples of technical documents. Okay, you look at the list here. Some of the documents here are not specifically scientific or not specifically technical, meaning that you may not be able to see any math, any scientific terms, nothing much. But why are these documents considered technical documents? So let's take a look at cookbook. Okay, cookbooks. I think most of you have seen a cookbook before. Right. For any cookbooks available in the world, you will see that the document or a cookbook will have specific information, specific audience, and specific purpose. Okay, remember just now I mentioned that to ensure whether a document is a technical document or not, it must fit into these three criteria: specific info, specific purpose, and specific audience. Right? So for a cookbook, what information is available? So basically, in any cookbooks in the world, you will see the ingredients, you will see how to prepare the food, okay, the steps, the procedure, okay, all right. You don't see much of history, where did these dishes coming from, not much of that. But at least you will see two kind of information. One, the ingredient, another one, the steps. How about the purpose? For the purpose, any cookbooks in the world, the main purpose of it is basically to teach newbies, okay, someone with no experience with cooking certain dishes or not into cooking at all, to cook certain dishes or certain meals. Basically, cookbooks are not written for chefs. Okay? Cookbooks are written for purpose of teaching those without any knowledge about that particular meal. Okay. How about the audience? So as I said just now, the audience will be newbies. Okay, newbies, those with no experience at all into maybe cooking or into that particular meal itself. All right, so you understand why are these considered as technical documents? I hope you do understand it now. Here on this slide, okay, you will see more examples of technical documents, okay, and also the fields in which the technical documents can be used or produced, okay, user manuals, technical reports, specifications, data sheets, white papers, right? Then we also have schematics and diagrams, business plans, safety manuals, standard operating procedures or SOPs, application programming interface or API documentation, test plans, test cases. We also have training manuals, regulatory documents, pattern documents, and also network diagrams. Okay, let's continue on how to analyze a technical document. I think one most important thing, other than understanding the definition of technical document itself, understanding the definition of analyzing technical document, okay, we also need to really know the components of a technical document. Okay, basically, most technical documents will follow a format. Okay, will follow a format, right? So the writers will usually write the documents by following certain formatting or certain content or certain what we call it order. All right. Okay. We can actually divide it into three components: the front matter, the body, and also the end matter. All right, let's start with the first component. Okay, the front matter. The front matter is the component in which you will see first when you open up a technical document. Okay, you will see, of course, the title page and then the abstract, all right, followed by table of content. Okay, table of content in a technical document is quite important, in which it will help, okay, the reader, okay, and also the writer to organize the content. And for the reader, it helps you to locate the information when you want to analyze the document later. All right. Following that, you will see list of figures, list of tables, and also list of terms used or available in the document. The acknowledgement is a part where the writer will write on appreciation or giving acknowledgement or mentioning few names to say thanks and whatnot. Okay. All right. Now, for the second component, it is the body. Typically, for any technical document, for the body, okay, you will start by having an introduction and ends with a conclusion. In between the introduction and conclusion, you will see different content depending on the types of documents and the fields you are writing it for. Right? However, usually it will be written according to what we call logical order. Okay? Logical order. All right. So for example, we'll have introduction, then you will have background information, theories if you have any, all right? And the design criteria, okay, depending on the documents, either it's for proposal, for a report and whatnot, okay? The design criteria will be a bit different, okay? And then you will have probably materials and apparatus if you are writing the document for an experiment, of course, and then maybe a procedure, a work plan, results, and also discussion before you end it with, okay, a conclusion. And last but not least, the last component, which is the end matter. For the end matter, you will usually see references, the reference list or bibliography maybe, okay, appendices, and probably an index. Once we have understood the definition, we have understood the components, it will be very easy to actually analyze a technical document. Right, let's go through the steps in analyzing a technical document. First and most important thing to do is to always read the document thoroughly from the first till the end. Then, as I mentioned earlier in my previous lecture, identify the purpose and the audience of that document. Then you can gather background information of the topic, and then you can analyze the structure of the document. Analyze the structure meaning you look at the format, how the information is written. Okay, is it through conventional way of writing? Okay, from there, from understanding how the information is organized, it helps you to actually locate certain information. Then you identify the key terminology or the terms used or the jargon used in the document. Okay, you can probably see it first in the list of terms at the front matter. And then later on, you can look into the documents and try to find out the definition of each term listed. Okay, then you go with identifying the main topics or the main idea, and then you go by understanding the supporting evidence. If you see any visuals, then if you see any visuals in the documents, okay, sometimes you can see graph, you can see diagrams, you can see charts, pie chart, pictures, figures, whatever visuals you see in the documents, evaluate it, try to understand the content. And then you check for consistency and clarity of the language. You look at the information's validity, reliability of the data, and then you also need to compare whatever knowledge you have in your mind, okay, or in your brain with the document itself. Are they tally? Okay, while you read the documents, you can always take notes, make some annotations, okay, scribble some, points or highlight some points. Okay, you can always ask questions. Okay, and if you have any more time or you maybe want to understand further about the document, you can make a summary. Okay, if you have anyone to actually discuss the content of the document, then you can go with reflection and discussion with your friends or experts, and then you can always verify and cross-reference with other documents available on the same subject matter or on the same topic. All right. Once you have done your analysis, you can make recommendations or make decisions based on what you understood on the information you have read from the document. Okay, right? And then your summary, whatever analysis you have made, make sure you keep it somewhere, okay, somewhere accessible for you to read it maybe in the future. And then if you need any follow-ups, okay, then you can do so by making extra investigation, extra reading, and whatnot, right? Basically, analyzing technical documents can be difficult, can be a long process, or can be a very meticulous process. Okay, however, in order for you to get the information you want, to get the details you want, you need to be able to extract the right information from it. All right, so basically, once you understand the definition, once you understand the components, once you understand how to do it, then basically it will be very easy for you to do so. And the skill of analyzing technical documents can be used throughout your life. Okay, when you are doing it as a student, or doing it when you are working later, it is actually an essential life skill. All right. So I think that will be all for this topic. If you have any further questions, you can always address the questions to me directly later. All in all, that's all for this topic. Thank you. See you again in the next video.